Good morning, children. Welcome back to the Google Classroom of Sri Gokulam Public School, Guruvayur. I hope all my dear children are doing well. So let's get back to our English lessons. In the last class, we discussed the poem line by line. Today, let me tell you something about the poetic devices or the figure of speech used in this poem. What is this figure of speech or poetic device? It is the tools. It's a tools used by the poet to enhance the meaning of the poem or to enhance the meaning of the words in the poem. To enhance means to improve or increase the quality or the value of the words used. To make the words more meaningful. To add color to the language. To make the language more beautiful or more decorative. The poet used such devices or tools. So there are two poetic devices or figure of speech used in this poem. They are simile and metaphor. What is a simile? Similes are used in order to compare, to make comparisons. Similes are used to make comparisons or to compare one thing to another. Because both the things might have some similarities. It doesn't mean both the things are same. It means both the things have some similarities. Only because of that we are comparing both the things. We are referring one thing to another. Now what is a metaphor? Metaphor is directly stating that one thing is another thing. One thing is another thing. We say that something is something else. And similes we use by the words like and as. So similes are introduced to the poem by the words like and as. The two words like and as. Sometimes we also use so in order to introduce simile in the poem. So is very rarely used. Like, as are the two words used in order to introduce a simile in the poem. But metaphor doesn't have such words to make comparisons. Metaphor directly states that. Directly tells something. It tells that one thing is another thing. It doesn't use the words like, as. Like and as. I'll give you some examples so you'll get more of it. For example, my father is as brave as a lion. See, I have used the words as. So when there is a word as and like, it becomes a simile. I am comparing my father? I am comparing my father to a lion. So I am making comparison between one thing to another. So in order to make such comparisons, we use simile and metaphor. Now how can I change the same sentence into a metaphor? We have to avoid that as. I can say my father is a lion. It also gives us the same meaning. When I say my father is a lion, it means that my father is very brave or my father is very strong as lion. So that is how you make comparisons. Here I am directly stating that my father is a lion. I am not using the words like or as to make comparison. I am directly stating it. I'll give you another example. I hope you know the swimmer, Olympic gold winner, Michael Phelps. He is an Olympic swimmer, he is a gold winner, he has won many golds. And he is called as the flying fish. Michael Phelps is a flying fish. If I make such a statement, which is the figure of speech used in that statement? It is the metaphor because I am telling Michael Phelps is a flying fish. He is a flying fish. So I am directly stating one thing to another. So it means metaphor. The figure of speech used there is metaphor. And if I say Michael Phelps swims like a fish, so it becomes what? Simile or metaphor? it is simile because I use the word like. And if I say Michael Phillips swims as a fish or swims like a fish, it is simile. If I say Michael Phelps is a flying fish, it is metaphor. I'll give you one more example. My mother sings like an angel. Which is the figure of speech used in that statement, in that sentence? It is the simile. It is a simile. If I say my mother is an angel, my mother is an angel for me. If I say like that, which is the figure of speech used in that sentence or statement? It is metaphor because I am directly stating that my mother is an angel. I am not using the words like or as. So if I directly state, it means metaphor, and if I use the words like and as in order to compare two things, it becomes simile. Now let us take the examples or the phrases in the poem. In the poem you can see that a flower bud is like a feather bed. So which is the figure of speech used in that line? It is simile. It prickles like a spear. Its prickle is like a spear. So which is the figure of speech used in that line? Like a spear. As the prickle is so sharp or it has a sharp edge, similarly the spear also has very pointed tip or sharp edge. So both the things are compared. Only that similarities are compared. Both things are totally different, but they have some similarities. So because of that, comparisons are made. And what is the figure of speech used there? It is the simile. A loaf of bread, a lofty hill. Here am I using the words like or as? No. So it becomes metaphor. A wasp, a cruel leopard. Am I using the words like or as? No. So again it is a metaphor because I am directly stating a wasp is a cruel leopard. Why? Do you remember? Because the wasp, it stings. So that's why it is compared to a cruel leopard. Leopard is also very fierce or very frightening. That's why both the things, only that similarities are compared. So that is how we make the comparisons, and that is how the poetic devices are used. So can you tell me more examples from our poem? Any more similes? Yes, many. There are many lines. In almost all the lines, this figure of speech is used. A dewdrop like a looking glass. What is a looking glass? It's a mirror. So this dewdrop is so clear and so bright. So it is compared to a mirror. It's so shining. So that's why it is compared to a mirror. That qualities. In both the things, the qualities are compared. Only the qualities, only the similar qualities are compared. So in order to make comparisons, in order to show the similarities between two things, we use these poetic devices, simile or metaphor. Metaphor is used in order to state one thing is another, whereas simile is used in order to say that one thing is like another thing. That is the only difference. Both are used to make comparisons, to show similarities between the two things. I hope you understood the poetic devices used in this poem. So that's all for today. We have finished our poem The Fly, written by Walter de la Mare. In the next class, we'll come up with a new lesson. So read the poem carefully and learn the meanings and the question answers attached. Already the question answers is given you. So in this class I have attached the meanings of this lesson. Take down the meanings and study it. See you in the next class.